Hello, friends. Uh, Today our topic's going to be homesick in the Philippines. Uh, and I'm going to go over the 5 things that I think, looking back, were the 5 top reasons I was a little homesick in the Philippines. And so that's what I'll get into here in the video. But I want to say, just to start off with, mainly this was the first time I went there, and you know uh, the second time it was a lot different. I already knew some of these things, was prepared for them, so really a lot of these things, it wasn't a major deal, and I enjoyed my time. It was just an adjustment period. So a lot of the things that I'm going to talk to you about are things that I didn't know going in. Kind of had some expectations, trying to learn as much as I could from other people's videos, and these are things that no one really talks about. So and I guess it's going to be different for everyone. So this is just my experience. So I wanted to share that, but maybe that can, if you're thinking about going to the Philippines for an extended time, maybe you can be more prepared and just expect these things. I think it's easier to go in if you have the right expectations. And if you're from the Philippines, if you're new to this channel, I actually met my now fiance. We met online, and so I'd never been to the Philippines until I went to visit. And the first time I went to visit, I was just solely going off of things I've learned online, and then me and her communicating. But there's a lot you can't know until you get there. So I worked through it, and it really wasn't. I wasn't distraught. I enjoyed my time the first time, and of course I did. I went back the second time, and the second time it was a totally new experience. A lot of these issues weren't an issue at all because we talked through them. I got through that, but I'm just going to give you those 5 reasons, and that way you can be prepared. And I'm going to go reverse order, so kind of the least important to the most important. So we'll go with number 5, and this is something that even me and her, it's just something you have to deal with, and that's the time zone difference. With our communication right now, even because I'm back in the US, we have to coordinate times that we can talk. When her morning is my evening, my morning is her evening. So when I was there, it trying to communicate back home, and that's the other, I'd say, time zone / communication. And by that I mean communicating with my family back home. And it was kind of an unexpected thing, because I'm travel a lot, so I don't talk face to face with my family all the time, but I normally call mom, and things like that. So that was a little bit of a change up, because you can't just make a phone call. Everything has to go through Facebook or something like that. So that would be my number 5. So it's low down there, but it did affect me a little bit, just changing in how I communicate with my family. Thankfully, all my sisters and brothers, we were able to talk on Facebook, and they kept mom up to date. So yeah, that's one thing that you should think about when you go over, is how are you going to communicate back home and even do business. I had to get one of my sisters to take care of something for me in the bank because an issue arose, and of course you can't just make a call. I mean, you can, but it's going to be long distance, and you're going to have to, you really have to think through that. So that's number 5. Number 4, and this is something that I think it's probably uniquely American, maybe, I'm not sure, but no car. And you get over there and you can rent a car, but I didn't, because there in Cebu the traffic is just, it's different, so I didn't feel comfortable driving. Plus, it's not really a lot of places you go, there's no parking, or it's just an extra hassle. So yeah, no car. And for me, I'm used to having my own transportation, going where I want, so that's, I think a lot of Americans, it's pretty ingrained in our society to have your own car and drive yourself. But there you're going to have to get used to using public transportation. Cabs are not that expensive, but if you use that all the time, it's going to add up. So what I did, I walked around a lot, which that was good. The local, when I traveled with her, we usually went on the jeepney, but they're small, and that does take some getting used to, plus figuring out where you're gonna go. So I never really went on the jeepney by myself. I just preferred to walk if I needed to go somewhere close, and if not, I'd get a cab. So that's number 4, and it wasn't a major deal. It's just a shift from our normal way of doing things. So number 3, and this kind of relates to the whole communication, but distance, and that's I'm used to traveling all over the US, but again, if I have my car, I know I can just drive. Even if I need to, it's only a few days trip anywhere pretty much in the US that I need to go. But just the mind, when you start thinking about it's 7,000 miles away, if I need to get there, yeah, you can book a plane ticket, but I think it was more in my mind, that it just really hit home after I thought about it. Yeah, I'm 7,000 miles away, and there's an ocean between me and the rest of my family. So that was a thing that I think made me a little homesick, a little, just, it's something that you think about. So, but like I said, these are not major things, but they all add up together too. I went through a little adjustment period, especially the first couple of weeks being there. And then the last week I was dreading having to leave. So you'll go through that if you really enjoyed your time, and I think you will. So that would be my number 3 would be, just the distance, how far away from home you are. And then number 2, and this is starting to get into the more, I think, more serious reason you might get homesick, and that's being a foreigner in a foreign country. I mean, people there are really nice, just like if you've heard anything at all, you hear how nice the people are, and that's very true. Especially her family were very inviting, very friendly, make you feel included. But with that, there's still just being a foreigner. You're obviously, just me as being white, especially, you obviously don't fit in with everyone else. You will see other Americans, other Westerners there, but it's a minority. So you get to experience what it's like to be a minority. So that was an eye-opening thing, and it just makes you feel like an outsider, even when people are being nice to you. Even that can kind of feel foreign to you sometimes, because you're like, well, they don't even know me, but they're being nice. It's just one of those things that being an outsider will make you feel a little bit, or made me feel a little bit homesick, a little lonely, but it's not something you can't work through. And I think if you're going there, I was glad. We had already been talking online, me and Lena, so I had her, but that I really knew. And then as I got to know her family, they really made me feel at home as well. So that was a nice thing. But just in general, as you're going about, you get the feeling that you are in a foreign country, and you are, which that's the whole. You're going there as a guest, so it wasn't a negative thing. It just really does make you realize people here, how they that are coming maybe from a foreign country here, how they could feel. So I think it's an eye-opening thing, but it does make you a little homesick. And this last one is one that I was not expecting, and that's because when you watch all the videos, I've never really seen it brought up. In fact, I've seen the opposite said, and that is the language barrier, or more, I would just say, not so much the barrier, but the fact that it's a different, people speak different language. Now, what everyone on YouTube will tell you, and it's true, is that a vast majority of the people, especially people who are working or in an area that's a tourist area, or doing business, so a lot of your fast food places, any major cities, a lot of people speak English and speak English well. Lena speaks English well. She was working doing customer support for an US based company, so her English skills are good. We communicate well, but the fact still remains, that's a second language for her. So I mean, it's impressive to me how well so many Filipinos speak English, because as an American, I mean, I speak well, I won't even say I speak another language. I know a few words of Spanish, I know a few words of this language, a few words of that language, and I'm in the process of trying to learn their dialect, which she's from the Visayas region, so they speak Cebuano. But the thing is, even the English speakers, that that's a second language to them. So when you're in a crowd, in a group, if they're speaking one-on-one to each other, they're probably going to speak in their native language, which is understandable, because I mean, think about if you where even if you have a second language, if you're speaking to a native speaker that speaks your native language, you're probably going to speak in that language because you're more fluent in it, you're more confident in it, and you're more comfortable. So I totally get why people who English is their second language prefer to speak in their native language, but as an English only speaker, pretty much, it was another thing that made me a little homesick. You just when you're out and about, I'm pretty much an introvert anyways, but you feel apart, so that would be the number one thing I think that that made me a little homesick, is just feeling like missing my communication with others, missing just hearing other people speak in a language you can understand. I found myself missing that. Of course, me and Lena, talk still, but yeah, and like I said, people do speak English. When you go to the store, you can order. It's very easy to get along if all you speak is English. But I think if you're going to live there, it's good if you speak their native language for whatever area you're at. You're going to fit in more. So that's something I'm hoping to learn more. Cebuano. Hopefully, as I'm there this time. I learned a little bit last time. I learned a little, but it's a whole lot, I think, better if you can really be there to practice and, more than just learning it from YouTube videos, which there is a great YouTube channel. I think it's Judy DIY, and she teaches a lot. So you can learn remotely, but I think the best way to learn is going to be really using it in conversation. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that's my 5 reasons, and I don't want to leave anyone with the impression that I was homesick the entire time. This was really my first trip. My second trip, totally different. I went in knowing some of this and being prepared, and I'd already worked through that. Plus, the second time, Lena was off, so we had more time to be together, and having someone that was, I was close to, that was already a friend, which by that time, the second time around, we did get engaged, so more than friends, but that helped too. So yeah, I don't want you to think that I was homesick or still. I'm back in the U.S. and actually I'm gonna do another video, so be looking for that. I'll probably link it, one of these corners, when I put it up. But I'm gonna do a video of why I'm now homesick for the Philippines, even though I'm here in the U.S. and I only have a little over a month till I go back, and I couldn't be more ready. So keep a lookout for that next video, because I'm definitely, it wasn't something that put me off from going back. I'm more ready to go back now than the first time I went. So I just wanted to share, for the Americans or foreigners who are going over there, some things you might not have heard, you might not have thought about, and just to be prepared there. And for if you're a Filipina, involved or dating, or Filipino that you're interacting with foreigners. It doesn't just not just Americans, anyone from a foreign country. These are some things you might consider that, oh, that's why they feel a little homesick or a little down at times. So it's not personal. It certainly wasn't personal for me. It was no one's fault, but there were times that I was just like, oh, I feel a little homesick. So that's pretty much all covers the 5 reasons and more. So thanks for watching. If you will, hit the like and subscribe, and do the bell so you actually get notifications. I'm trying to improve these videos each time. Leave a comment what you think I can do to make these videos better, and in the future you'll have videos coming from the Philippines. So only one more month, and leading up to that, I'm gonna show you some me packing, getting ready, maybe some tips. I know there's a lot of tips, but I'll show you how I do things, some of the things I've learned, stuff like that. So yeah, if you want to hear about that, just subscribe, and you can follow along on this journey. So thanks, and God bless, and goodbye.